when that fourth month comes, the lender is saying, well, we deferred those payments. Now you owe us, bam, on the fourth month, the total for all 3 months combined at once. So instead of going, oh, it's the fourth month, I can make my payment now because my furlough is over. Now all of a sudden the bank is saying, well, hey, Mr. Jones, you owe us $12,000. That's 4 months worth of payments essentially. And so they're, of course, coming out of the challenge they've been in financially, they're going, well, I can't do that. So I think that's where in the general public, and it has nothing to do with everything what David said is spot on, but I think that the challenge is in the general public, they think, oh, it's a deferment. Well, it's not the deferment that puts it on the back of the loan most of the time with mortgages. And that's where they're not asking enough questions, and they're only, they're kind of just, they're not being educated, and they're only digging a deeper hole for themselves.
No, that's exactly right. And the way that the individuals get out of it a lot of the times is once that 3 months comes due, they'll pay 1 or 1.5 months. And so then they're not behind the full 90 days anymore. They're only behind 60 or 45 or whatever it is. So they can kind of play with the system that way a little bit. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Jeff. That's kind of the whole crux of this issue.
Yes, and then the other asset of that, asset's not that word. Another end to that is then there are repayment plans that lenders will allow. So they say, okay, well, since you on the fourth month, well, you can't pay all this at once. If you ask for it and there's a lot of work they make you do for it, you can say, well, then I need these 3 months. I'm going to catch up over the next 6 months to a year, which again, then you have to be approved for. So over the next 6 to 12 months, they say, well, if your mortgage is normally, let's say, I don't know, 1,800, 2,000. Let's say it's 2,000. Well, instead, over the next 6 to 12 months, to catch up those 3 months, your mortgage payment instead of 2,000 is going to be 2,350. So again, the homeowner has to go, can I now be paying an extra $350 a month to catch up on those over the next 6 to 12 months? So, I mean, so when I guess the bottom line is, how are a lot of people are asking for these and going this route, not asking enough questions and don't realize what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bottom line is it is going to increase the BPOs and those going, okay, then we got to get out and do something different. That's the bottom line of what's going to happen. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. So this past 2 weeks, I have been on many Zoom meetings and the conferences, just like you guys. What I'm learning is not a V-shaped or U-shaped recovery. It's going to be a W shape, meaning we're going to recession. We're already in recession right now. And another one is coming September, October, because the government printing out those money and sent to the household, it's only temporary, put a Band-Aid on the wound. But another one is coming fourth quarter of 2020. So we're going to dip, the second round of depression and recession. In the recovery will be spring of 2021. What do you guys hear out there so far?
I think that's right.
Start with David then we go Jeff, then Phoebe.
Yeah, I think that's right because, similar to what we were just talking about, it lines up with the timeline in terms of foreclosures, right? I mean, things are going to be bad now because people aren't going to have a lot of money to spend if they've lost their job, but it's going to get a lot worse here in 6 or 8 months when not only do they have no money to spend, but now they also have no place to live. So, that's when it's going to get really interesting. And I would be surprised. I think our recovery will start in the spring of 2021. It's not going to end in the spring of 2021. It will be beginning. Yeah. So that's my thoughts. I'm not an economist, so you may not want to trust what I say, but no, that just the putting together the timeline, it seems to make sense.
Okay. Jeff, please.
I'm hesitant because it's a funny thing and David, you're an attorney, so forgive me as I say this, but when someone calls me with a question and needs some help, I will call different underwriters because I know one will lean one way to the answer I want to help my client. So I play that game with, okay, here's my problem. Which attorney am I, which underwriting attorney am I going to call that's going to lean to help me get this problem solved? Because some are much more rigid and some are not. And I think it's the same way when looking, and we're hearing so many things about the economy. I still truly believe we're in the best market in the country as far as strength wise and resolve. Our biggest key, I feel very bad for those who are in the retail and restaurant industry, um, but on the same side of that, I don't feel that we are going to be hit as hard in this area because there is so many people that are making really, really good money in our Metroplex and the DFW, and that we're very fortunate because of that. Now, again, I'm not trying to separate the haves and have-nots, but those that are suffering, I mean, Phoebe, just, y'all selling your business, all your employees or the employees you had at that time, those are the people who are really going to need help. And I hope I'm putting that verbalizing that properly. And that's not a word. Verbalizing isn't a word. So I'm just thinking it is going to be a challenge. We're going to have a recession. I don't think it's going to hit us as hard here in the DFW Metroplex. There's going to be opportunities. There's going to be people who need help. But I just avert from the full-on recession term, and I'm not trying to just bury my head in the sand by saying that.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Go ahead, Phoebe. Have you heard anything or your personal experience? Your friends are telling you something in the past 2 weeks?
I mostly it's from the retail side, but I haven't really paid much attention to the real estate side. But like y'all said, with the deferment, we don't know how long this is gonna delay foreclosures and everything else. So, I mean, I'm here to learn and observe and, to see your observations. But I think, what you said, Carol, and all of y'all, it's all sounds, it sounds very, it sounds correct. I mean, that's what's going to happen, which is
Thank you.
sad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Carol.
Yes, sir.
If I may, and I want to be very careful, but I think from the recession that started in '08 that we all experienced and lived through, I think it was the American people. It was we here on the ground just working and saying, I've had enough of this. And that's what pulled us out of that recession.
Yeah.
I think over time, I grew up, I don't know about everyone's ages. I'm not 50 yet. I'm a couple years away from it, but I grew up in a time when your doctors, you always listen to your doctors. They knew everything. They were correct. You always listen to your elders. You always listen to people. But I think it's the same with politicians. I think we know better that these people that we choose to be our leaders doesn't mean that they know all and have all the answers. And I think that's where the American people, we realize that, and it's frustrating. So that's why it's up to us to keep, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get political, but
Right.
No.
I
agree with you. I agree with
I'm
you,
really
Jeff.
trying to give us all the benefit of the doubt and the trust in us as individuals. Because yesterday, our leadership was telling us ultraviolet lights will kill this, and antiseptic. I don't know if y'all saw the last post. It's like all the scientists and doctors are saying, no, please don't. You can't do that. So, that's why we have to keep a level head on our shoulders and just keep plowing forward. But
Right.
I do think that's why this group and our goal here is there's going to be people that need help. Does it mean we can save them from not having to sell their homes and make a move or have to make a hard decision? No, but what we can do is help them through that process to make it as easy on them as possible.
I totally agree. Yeah, agree.
And I'll give you an example. And Phoebe, I may have already told the other two, but if I may have mentioned in our first call when I helped handle the sale of that foreclosed property, that gentleman thought he was walking away with nothing and have a foreclosure on his head, I say on his shoulders, whatever. He ended up, we sold the property. He walked away with $9,000 to $11,000 at least. Was that what he wanted? No, he didn't want to lose his property, but he did walk away. It wasn't a foreclosure, and he received money out of it. So that's the key of how we can help people. It's not solving the problem, but it's easing, what they're going through during the process.
I agree. Well, that's why we're having this group, because we're not hoping to get all those REOs listings. We're hoping to, like I shared with Phoebe yesterday, through that process, they don't have to give up on their loan. They don't have to give up on their house. So great example is I was just talking to a CPA that's selling the building next to my office. He has no offers and he listed at $860,000. So I gave him the scenario. You could, one, refinance it because the interest rate is low. David, you know that the interest rate is low. And this week I was able to refer 4 clients, past clients, to refinance their homes and their investment property. So take advantage of the interest rate. And number 2 is lower the price. So I asked him, what is your outstanding loan amount? What if I can have somebody buy the property and just take the loan off of your shoulder? Because he's under distress. He's in denial. We're going to have a lot of people like that. So foreclosures, bankruptcy, all that is not the only solution. I think we're trying to help as many, Jeff, you hit it right on the head, is help as many people as possible. So I will bring those cases in. I'm in real estate. These are real life stories. I told my client, you don't have to walk away. You don't have to dump it. There's many solutions to do that. So there's distress. On the residential side, people will lose their home. They have no place to live. And on the commercial side, landlords are hurting as well. But we're here. So I want this core group because we all meeting people. We all know somebody is hurting. If we can bring those cases in and do a real case study and start helping them one at a time, helping one family at a time, help provide solution. That's my goals. What do you think?
Well, I will tell you this, as of this week, I've been working diligently. I have a new client, and this time, those that have the opportunity to purchase, he wants to buy property. He's building portfolio. He's building his rental property. So
Okay.
if anyone finds something in the realm of 150 to 300, I have someone to send that property to right away. He's a buyer.
You mean residential cash?
Yes, this is
Okay.
residential right now. Commercial may happen, or right now, multifamily small, maybe he'll consider. But the biggest thing is, I know he's been vetted. He has the funding. He has his company, he has partnership. Everything's in place. So I do have a legitimate buyer ready to buy residential properties.
Okay.
So we come across. All I need to do right now, send me the information. I forward it to him. But he's buying. So again, it's not the best scenario for everyone that they need to get out, but if they need to, there's help and there's a way to do it, and at least get something out of the transaction.
That's good. How about you, David? Any thoughts on that?
No, I think that's the right train of thought. The only thing that I just thought of that, and I don't know how easy it would be for us to make operational. But when Jeff, when you were talking earlier about how, the mortgage companies the lenders are just taking the amount that was due and just tacking it on the deferment process. And so now when you come back from deferment, instead of having a $2,000 payment, you have a $6,000 payment. Is there anybody out there that has thought of taking that amount and rolling it into some kind of installment loan that might be cheaper than what they would be paying if they made a deal with their realtor?
That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I'm aware of, and again, this is just me talking to a few people as far as what, a handful of the lenders or the mortgage groups offer. But in that sense, I'm not sure.
Okay. Because that might be something we would have to have the funding to do that, but, that may be something we could look at. I don't know.
Also, this past week, David and Jeff, have you talked to bankruptcy attorneys, foreclosures, divorce attorney, just get some relationships, some connections out there? Jeff, go ahead, please.
I've made the calls, and the challenge is, of course, right now is if they're working, but they're working remote and or they're working part-time with some of these entities.
Okay.
Because here's the challenge for me right now when I call those. If I have a specific property, let's say with these foreclosing attorneys, if I have a specific property, the property owner has to sign an acknowledgement to allow me to communicate with them. So to just call and
Oh.
and start trying to do a sales pitch, for one, it's hard to get the right person. And secondarily, then if I have an actual property, that homeowner has to assign an acknowledgement. That's not the word I'm looking for. There's a better term, but
Disclosure.
thank you, disclosure. That it's okay for that attorney to communicate with me. So that's a little bit of the challenge right now I'm facing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I found is, I've talked to the guys on my BNI group that I was telling you about yesterday, Carol, and the big thing that we found is that the buyers are coming out and the buyers are being aggressive and saying, hey, I want this, I want this. But the people that are in the position to sell are not wanting to admit that they're in the position to sell just yet.
Yes, sir.
And so that's what we're finding a lot of. That will eventually turn around, and those people will have no other choice but to admit they're in that position. But right now they're kind of holding on. So.
Okay, so it's 12:20. Our time is coming up to end. It's going to month of May. Do you feel Friday it's a good time to do this? If yes, what time are you guys commit to do this on a weekly basis?
Carol,
Hi, you're back. Welcome.
Hey, awesome.
are you able to see me?
Yeah.
I'm only able to see Carol. What's going on? Hold on, let me see.
Yes.
It depends on what you select as far as participants. I mean, you won't see me right now, but you should see at least a screen on my behalf that either has a J or has my logo on it.
I see it. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right.
No worries.
It's okay. So are you?
So I like Fridays. Friday's good for me. Friday, right now we're doing either the 10 or 11 o'clock time frame. That's fine. I mean, y'all understand, like this morning, I'm in my car just because the first closing went a little long. So I wasn't back in my home office to have video going. But I do like this time frame is good. We could, I mean, if y'all want to move it to a Monday or Tuesday morning, first of the week, I'm open. I'm fine with that. My closings change, but I'm open.
I like Friday. And I like to be on schedule, the same thing. How about
Carol,
you,
do you
David?
like to be scheduled? Carol likes to be scheduled, David. Would you imagine that?
Yeah, I had no idea. That's a surprise to me.
No, Friday, 10, 11 o'clock range is fine.
My work schedule is around the Zumba and pop Pilates and the, yoga classes.
Friday works for me. Yeah, Friday works for me around this time frame is fine.
Okay.
My schedule is pretty much very open right now.
Hey, Phoebe, I do have a question as you're back online with us. What can we do to help you? What are your goals as you get full focused in real estate? And
Yeah,
how can we help you? What do you need?
just learning this whole, what Carol's talking about, all these REOs and opportunities versus just a regular real estate. I'm just not the kind of person to go cold call, hey, do you want to buy a house? Do you want to sell it? I want to be in this niche and just also help people at the same time. So I want to learn and just be her shadow and, go from there.
Do you feel like you would have a good database that you need to let know that you're here to help them in their real estate needs and get the word out? Or
I need to work on that, yes. But
okay.
yeah.
So when you and I can talk again at another time, because while Carol, of course, is focused with commercial, I do have a program and some aspects of what's available that's residential wise to help. It's more about content. So
Okay.
it won't cost you a dime. But I can
Okay.
set you up with this program online that will give you content to send out to everyone to say, hey, I'm here to help with your real estate needs.
Oh, sure.
As you get your database organized. So keep that in mind. You and I will talk on a different day so we
Okay.
don't bore David and Carol too much on it, okay?
Okay, definitely. Sure.
All right, wonderful.
Hey, David, do you have anything to add?
No, this time works fine for me. My schedule is pretty flexible. If you guys let me know a few days in advance, usually I can block off some time. EY is trying to make that a little more difficult, but even that stuff, I can move around quite a bit. So.
Oh, Phoebe, just so you know, David has his own painting company. So if you know anybody need to get fresh coat of paint, this is a great
Right.
time because everybody's home and they don't have to go anywhere. And give
Right.
David a call. He has his own company, okay?
Okay.
Oh, another thing, maybe your Jorge want to connect with David Campbell because David owns his own painting company.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, your husband Jorge. So
yeah,
I'll give you those. I'll give you Jeff Duffy and David Campbell's phone number, and you guys can talk.
Of course.
We're here to help each other out.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything?
It's great to meet you, Phoebe.
Yeah, same here.